What up, roomies? Tonight on Neighbors, we're getting into how big film festivals and major events really get marketed. The stuff people don't tell you about sponsors, partnerships, authentic growth, and how you get into these rooms in the first place. Our guest Eric, a producer a marketing consultant who worked across film festivals and entertainment events, including Sundance Week activations, and work connected to groups like the Latino Filmmakers Network. If you're an artist, filmmaker, promoter, or just someone trying to build a real audience, this episode is going to give you what you want. Eric, welcome to the pod. Welcome to Neighbors.
Nice to have me. Nice to be on your show, Ariel. I'm happy
what's
that
up?
you invited me. Yeah, actually, the event just took place at Sundance in Park City.
How was it, man?
I mean, I saw it from Instagram. I'm not in Park City. My job was fundraising, and this year I worked on advertising for the program, the magazine, and then I booked. I've been involved with booking different celebrities to support the cause, as well as the organization, the Latino Filmmakers Network.
Yeah.
Their home is in LA, and that's where they're based.
Okay. And how did you get into that space in the first place? Like, give us like a origin story. Give us like how you actually like got into like marketing for like these big events and for like film festivals.
So I was actually a volunteer back in 2001 at Sundance. When I was living in Los Angeles, the girlfriend at the time said, "Have you ever been to Sundance? Have you ever volunteered?" And she invited me to go, and I applied, and I got accepted. So my job was I was a crowd liaison at the Egyptian Theater, which is right on Main Street in Park City, Utah. And then years later, I got connected to a filmmaker magazine from Texas, and I helped produce their event at Sundance. And then another organization out of Oakland, San Francisco area helped them produce their event. And then the list goes on. So this is my fourth event with the Latino Filmmakers Network that I've helped work on and produce. And it's my overall seventh event I've actually co-produced on Sundance events.
That's dope. So it all like kind of like snowballed into like this thing, right? Like this like career for you.
So I've been involved with film festivals and entertainment events. My education was actually the Nantucket Film Festival, which is in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And then Sundance was the second one. I really didn't start, getting paid for my work and, making a living was back in 2005. And Los Angeles, I did a lot of film festivals in LA. And I just learned from each film festival I worked on. My job is selling sponsorship, advertising, booking entertainment professionals for different educational panels for filmmakers, actors, and also doing social media marketing and getting filmmaker prizes.
That's dope. So like, what's like one of the before we get like into the nitty gritty, right? What was like one of the biggest misconceptions of like your work when it comes to like marketing these big events? Like, do people think it's just like all this glam and glitz, or because I know it's got to be hard work to make everything pop off correctly?
So a lot of my work is remote. I work right from my apartment, and then in the past I did a lot more traveling than I've done now. I think it's also because I'm getting older. And it's age-wise, and like
I feel you, bro.
Going to a film festival is a lot of fun, but it's very tiring too. You're constantly networking, you're constantly partying, you're constantly watching movies. So there's a lot involved with going to a film festival, and I do think it's a great opportunity, for people who want to learn about the entertainment industry and definitely get great contacts. And so I think what you were saying back to, it's just understanding, people, regards to my job, I think people don't understand really what the producer's job is really to raise funds. To do more fundraising is the most important job. And I always say that, when a film festival brings me on, it's extra money that they didn't have in the first place.
Okay.
And
And how do how do you like raise funds for it? Do you like contact different companies? Do you like target like like since you're in since it's like the film industry, do you like ask celebrities to chip in? Like how does it all play out?
so I focus more, like if it's a general film festival, I focus on, I think, out of the box. So like real estate, insurance, banks, accountants, art galleries, but that's just normal, the straight normal. But then you can go into entertainment insurance, entertainment lawyers. You can go into entertainment accountants. So you sort of
Yeah.
have two ways of looking at it. And a general film festival is easier because you can sort of pitch everyone. And who doesn't love the movies, right? If you would ask
Right.
anybody that question, I would say that most people love watching movies, no
That's a
matter if
fact.
it's at the theater or if it's at home.
No, that's true. That's true. So when it comes to you like when it comes to you actually reaching out to everybody, right? So what's like your process? What do you like? What do you do? Do you do like a cold call, or do you like email people, or do you just reach out personally?
I cold call. I love
Okay,
cold calling because
okay.
you start building relationships, and each relationship is different. And at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen, but that's the risk, right? When you do a cold call,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, again, it's a numbers game, as all sales is. And your goal again is you're supporting art, you're supporting creativity, and supporting the filmmakers. And my job is about to, the best part about my job is focusing. I love focusing on diversity and inclusion, but I also love that filmmakers get to screen their films on the big screen when they go to the film festival. And it's such, for them, it's such like a great feeling, especially if they have an audience.
Nah, I feel you on that. So like, have you ever seen any movies that were like small at one point and then like blew up through like the film festival scenes and then just became like this big thing?
That's a good question. I mean, I think I have, but this is the funny part about me and watching movies.
Yeah.
When I go to film festivals, it's more about the networking for me. I do see films when I go, but in general, I'm more about the networking and making sure my sponsors and advertisers are settled and happy. And I'm trying to think what would be a good. I mean, there's a lot like Napoleon Dynamite. Remember that
Yeah.
film? That
Of
was
course.
a film festival film.
Vote for
Uh,
Pedro.
yes, Pedro for sure. I mean, that was a film festival film, and trying to think what else. Years ago, I mean, again, like Sundance discovers so many films that are out in the that become very successful. And I'm trying to think what other some of the great movies over this. What was that movie with? I think it's called Untouch. The one with that was an independent film. That was discovered at Sundance with Benicio del Toro
Yeah.
and Baldwin. When they were gangsters,
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Untouchables.
Yeah. The Untouchables. Yeah. I remember that.
That I think that was an independent film that was picked up from a festival.
Oh, really?
Um, I think so. I think I'm right on that one. I mean,
Oh,
again,
that's dope.
there's so many, and like TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival has a lot of films that get picked up. They're known for their films and distribution deals. Of course, Cannes, where
Yeah.
the latest film from Spike Lee and Denzel was discovered. They screened it at Cannes.
Oh, really? So,
The one, yeah.
like, do a lot of like big name actors and directors like um how can I say? Do a lot of big name actors and directors basically put their films in these film festivals to get picked up by like bigger studios?
There's a lot of independent films that have big name actors and big directors that their goal is to get distribution no matter, if it's in the theaters or on one of the on the online platforms like, Netflix or Prime, Amazon, so you find more distribution reps at like Sundance, Toronto, Cannes, AFM, American Film Market, South by Southwest. Like some of the the festivals that are the more major festivals definitely have more distribution and entertainment lawyers looking to pick up films.
That's dope. So it's basically you can compare it to like scouts. Like they're scouts and they're looking for talent.
Correct.
Okay.
But again, there are so many film festivals, and there's a lot of film festivals that don't have distribution reps, but that doesn't mean those films aren't good, because there's a lot of great films that are not discovered that are still screening at festivals, and those films are hoping to get picked up eventually.
Oh, that's dope. So, just moving away from the festivals real quick, and let's get back into you, right? What did you do early on to get you into these doors? Like, I know you did the volunteering thing, and I know that but just by your presence, I can see that you're a very sociable guy, because you're out there getting sponsorships and all that. So what was like your big break besides like the volunteering?
So I started with theater, and then in college I was acting. In community college. What really got me involved with like what I love was the club scene in Manhattan back in 1996. I was involved, like there was the China Club, Nell's, Sound Factory, Mirage, the Tunnel.
Wait, which Mirage? The one up here? The one that used to be on Dykeman?
I don't know if it's still open, but the Mirage back in the 90s. There was a Mirage back in the 90s. So I was there. There was also Expo, the club called Expo. But the club scene was really what got me into like loving to promote. And when I broke my wrist breakdancing, I had to move back upstate. Yeah. I was living in Alphabet City in the East Village at the time, on East 7th between C and D. Nice. And then I broke my wrist. I moved back upstate. And then I started community college, and I learned how to sell out theater because of the clubs. And next thing you know, I'm fundraising and doing PR and selling out Arthur's Miller, The Crucible, and then Cabaret. So after that, I went to Boston. So I went from Manhattan to upstate to Boston, finished my college, and I got involved with management communications was my study. Yeah. But really what got me into the film was through casting. And, I had my internships through Boston Casting and Kevin Fennessy Casting. And then I had my first work on a film festival while I was at Emerson, which was, again, the Nantucket Film Festival. But I think it was casting that, was really the start of working on motion pictures and television, and understanding the role of a casting director, and understanding, the different roles of what they're looking for to do extras on a movie. And finally, I moved to LA, and I was in the casting department at a studio, and that was directly working with A and B list actors. So then I got to be with the celebrities that way.
Okay. And what was like the moment you realized, like, oh shit, I'm here in this room with X, Y, and Z, and I'm, rubbing elbows with, the A-list celebrities? What was it like that moment felt like for you?
They're people. They're just people like me. I think they're awesome. I support their talent and their creativity. But, the celebrities and the, role models that I have are just people. And, they taught, some of my favorite role models taught me about being humble. And, it's, one of the greatest lessons I've learned is you never ask for a job, you ask to learn.
That's true. That's true. People are more inclined to teach than to pay.
Correct.
Yeah. So when people hear Sundance, right, they think premieres, they think celebrities. What's the business machine behind it? Like what goes into everything preparing for like the big event?
you know, over the years, what I've realized about Sundance, and I think this was the vision behind Robert Redford, was bringing people together of all walks of life and through diversity and inclusion. And I have seen that now with, like, I experienced one of the great organizations that puts on a great programming is called the Black House. They're based in LA, and that focuses on Black filmmakers, producers, directors, writers, and screenwriters. And then Mei Lin, of course, with what she founded. This is the 12th annual Latino Filmmakers Network, and focusing on the Latino excellence, as well as expressing that it's not all about a certain role that sometimes Hollywood projects a certain role for, say, minorities, but there's definitely more importance behind minorities, and cultures should have the same rights as everyone when it comes to producing films and acting. And it shouldn't just be a certain
stereotype,
a certain essence. Yeah. So I think that these groups are at least promoting and letting people know and speaking out about that they're as good as everyone else.
Now I feel you on that. And you've been doing this for a mean minute, right? So in the beginning, when you first started to now, how have you seen like the shift between minorities going from the stereotypical roles to like more leading roles?
I think it's getting better, but it's still not there. And I think the more stories, like there's a lot of great stories out there that really express the reality of what's taking place in, say, inner cities. Like, that's something. One of my things is I love, and again, when I can, I love volunteering or giving money to different charities that work with inner city kids in the arts. Like, that's something that I'm really passionate about. And I need to do more of that. But so, like, what I'm trying to say is that I think that there are stories that are told that do express realism and true stories about different cases of minorities. But I think there should be definitely more. I don't think there's still not enough.
I'll feel you on that. So how do people actually get into Sundance, from the people who make the films to a person? I know you had volunteered into it, but people who make the films, producers and directors, like, how do they submit to the Sundance Film Festival and stuff like that?
So Film Freeway is a company based in Canada, and they have over 14,000 film festivals on their website. And Sundance is one of the festivals that you can submit through Film Freeway.
Okay.
But again, you can volunteer, you can submit as a filmmaker, or you can attend, or you can sponsor or advertise. I mean, those are your ways.
All right, cool. So if like a filmmaker wants to join the network, what would be like the smartest strategy to do it? Would it be like through sponsorships or partnerships?
For a filmmaker, first of all, to make the film, no matter if it's a short or a feature, doesn't matter what genre, just do it. And then you can submit through Film Freeway is the best way.
Okay. So
another great. Oh, and I was going to say another great thing is also for filmmakers is to get connected to their film commissions, where the geography. There's a film commission in every city in general. And that's very important, because say you're a student and you've never worked on a film, the film commissions know what productions are coming to that location, and they possibly could get a job and start learning how to work on a production through as a PA or craft services or, So.
No, I know. I actually had a friend that was working as a production assistant. On my days off, he would call me up and say, "Hey, we got a spot. Do you want to work?" and I actually ended up working a couple of days with Spike Lee on Black Klansman.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. Spike Lee, even though he's a little guy, he's very intimidating. I can tell you that. Because
That's awesome.
somehow, some way, I ended up working working right with him, and I was just like, oh, okay. I guess this is how like the film industry works. Like, I only worked a couple of days, but I was like, I have my little taste, and I was just like, oh, this is so dope. Especially when they blew up a car.
Very cool.
Yeah. So like, so if you had to explain your marketing formula, right, in 3 steps, what would they be?
First, understanding the genre or the general aspect of a film festival
Okay.
or an event, and then going and then researching the companies or businesses that I see fit to potentially sponsor or advertise. And then the next process, of course, is then reaching out and staying in contact until I get a yay or a nay.
I feel you on that. And what moves the needle most? Like influence, the press, partnerships, email lists, street teams.
That's a good question. I think for me, it's focusing on raising as much money as I can,
Yeah.
and each event is different. Like, so that like when I start, I sort of just jump in. It's like jumping into the water without knowing what's going to happen or what's on the bottom.
Yeah, I feel you. You said earlier that you were a New York City club promoter, right?
I
Now
learned through the clubs.
you've learned through the clubs. What were like some of the lessons that you took from the clubs into like the film industry?
Well, I learned, what a mailing list is and sending out flyers of a party I learned how to sit outside of a nightclub and pass out postcards until like 2 a.m. in the morning. Some of that I learned that, again, clubs also bring diversity and inclusion and bring everybody together, which is, again, the
That's a
music
fact.
industry is similar to the film industry that way. And what else? That people are just there. It's like going to the movies. You're there to have a good time. When you go to a nightclub, it's similar. You're there to have a good time.
Yeah, that's a big fact. And vibe out.
And it's a community. It's a certain community. You can tell. And
Yeah, you're trying to get with a lot of like-minded people.
correct.
Yeah. And what would be like the biggest marketing mistakes festivals make that kill like their attendance?
That's a good question. Well, there's a couple things. Like I think for filmmakers have to learn how to market and do PR themselves because sometimes film festivals, like the newer ones, don't have the budget or capacity to fill the seats in the theater. It's the job of the filmmaker, really,
Yeah.
is to reach out to the press, the media, reach out to mom and dad, the cousins. You want to
Yeah.
fill the theater. So, also, I think having a good website that really is able to, have show social media, and a website is very important that you understand the different. There's no broken, links or
Yeah.
what I mean. Like it's not you don't want like a old basic website. You want a new website. Also, I think what some of the, like Sundance does and some of the bigger festivals, they actually have an opportunity where you can screen the movies. So if you can't make it to Sundance, you can go right to their website and screen the film. So I think if other film festivals take on that role of doing like the Netflix, Hulu, Amazon type distribution screening on their websites, I think that's very popular. And another
That would
thing
be
is,
dope. Because wouldn't that like be able to create like some sort of revenue via either behind a paywall or ads?
yes, correct. So I think that's important. And then finally is focusing on growing your social media outlets. So because once COVID hit, social media was really the way of life for us,
Yeah.
and it still is now. And I think businesses, and including film festivals, need to grow their social media outlets and be able to constantly promote to their audience.
Oh, okay. So how do you actually land sponsors? Like, take us through like your process on how you would convince, like, I don't know, the mom and pop grocery store to, sponsor the film festival.
So depending again if it's a general or a genre film festival, I would research for example, like I did a festival in Jim Thorpe, PA, which is in the Poconos in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I had a Kia car dealership sponsor me, and then I just did one in August. I was in Forest Hills in Queens.
Yeah.
And I had a law firm. So I mean, everybody's different. When I worked in Woods Hole, which is in Cape Cod, I had an art gallery. So like all different genres, and again, most of these are general film festivals, and so basically my process is Google is everything. That's how I've researched everything from Google. It's very straightforward. The next part is creating a script, right? And then it's basically your script is everything. You reach out cold calling and you get to the decision maker, if it's the marketing director or the owner or the CEO, and basically saying, you love movies, right? I mean, this is just I'm sort of just improving, but they get that it's creativity, and film is a positive feeling, and the companies and businesses and corporations that see that type of atmosphere is that, oh, it makes sense. We'll spend money because people go to the movies to have a good time in general, unless it's a wild horror, but it's a comedy, right? So you're going to a comedy. I think spending money on a commercial on the screen or in the program book or on the step and repeat. I mean, again, it's going to get viewed by a lot of people through the audiences, and you have the movie lovers, and then you have the film and producers, directors, screenwriters, production, and the actors and the music composers. So you have that type of two different audiences, but through the sponsorship, right? It's a good time.
I feel you. So how do you package things for the sponsors? Like, be like, oh, if you give me X amount, this is what we could do for you, or how does that really work? Like when it comes to like them actually putting cash up.
So each sponsorship is at a different level, so you can say 25,000, 15, 10, 5, 1,000. So basically, if I'm working for a film festival, they might have a sponsorship deck already, or I'll create my own sponsorship deck and then have the graphic design, take place, make sure that the demographics are involved and let people know, the attendance, how old is the film festival, how many films are screened of the film festival. And then I just go out and pitch and send that out, follow up, and then hopefully get the yay or nay.
I don't know, man. By the way I'm seeing it, I see you getting a whole lot of yays and very little nays.
Well,
but you've been doing it for a minute,
Yeah, it's been a while.
With platforms like the Latino Filmmakers Network, right? What makes a community event succeed during a huge week like Sundance?
Well, I think they had a full house, which I'm really happy for, because we've been really promoting this event. And, it's interesting. I had some really great calls. I actually talked to the Film Commission in Rio de Janeiro, and they were so nice to see about them sponsoring. I also got an email back from Dominican Republic.
Nice.
And their Film Commission.
I
reached out to Chile, Spain, Argentina, I mean, I reached out to basically all Latinos, right? They're
Yeah,
everywhere. Everybody's everywhere, and to have them support this event, and um, I think it was a success, which I'm really happy. And the founder, Malin, did a really great job, for the 12 years that she's been at Sundance, and she really, is a support, and I support as well the community.
yeah. I thought, hello.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, I thought you got frozen for a second. My bad.
No.
What do you think filmmakers under underrepresented backgrounds should focus on when building like real? What focus on building like real access to like big festivals?
I think first they should, again, everybody is different on this opinion, but I think creating a short film is is the start, and just creating a film in general. And, I mean, again, if they want to go right for the feature, I recommend that too. But I always think a short is going to be less expensive in general. And educating themselves, as there's different educations online, like YouTube has a lot of great educational videos, and interning, volunteering is very important to understand. Becoming a PA, and like I said, going through the film commissions is really important on that. Working on college films, like reaching out to the film departments at different universities and colleges in the geography of where that film, that potential filmmaker it lives. I think that's a great idea. And then, again, it's going to film festivals in that geography and networking.
That's dope. Have you ever seen a short film become a full length feature?
I know I have. I just, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Because a lot of times the short is the marketing tool to get to the feature.
Okay.
A lot of times people start off, having the short to potentially get it into a feature film.
Oh.
So right now I don't have a good answer for that, but I can tell you that it is a way of, raising money to become a feature.
I got you. And since you were working with the Latino Filmmakers Network, right? Do you see a lot of films in Spanish or in Portuguese? Because I know you reached out to Rio.
So I have not, but my job again was to raise funds to have the event at Sundance. I can tell you, so my best year with the Latino Filmmakers Network was in 2022. Yes. I've done 4 events. 2022 was great. I raised about 23,000 for their event.
Nice.
We did it online virtually, and we had who was supporting us? Oh, America Ferrara, who's amazing. She was great.
Nice.
And then we also have had I booked John Leguizamo, who's supported us. He's awesome. Nice. He's amazing.
John is one of those people that I definitely would love to like connect with. Like, I'm a big fan of John.
He was really great. He did a video roll-in. And then this year we had Benicio del Toro do a video roll-in to support us.
Fire.
Yes.
Fire. That's so dope. And people like John Leguizamo and Del Toro, right? Do you have any like? I know that you've worked with them on that level. Do you continue those relationships, and just in case, like, if there's ever another film festival you want to reach out to them on?
I've been just working with them through Latino Filmmakers Network, and I do approach. In the past, like when I was going to school in Boston, originally I learned how to do this video roll-in pitching, because that's what I do is pitch and book.
Yeah.
So I started it because we had an event called the Evie Awards at Emerson, which
Okay.
is sort of like a student Oscars. And we put on this big event. And so my job was I had a chance to book different, like I booked the cast of Law and Order, the actual Broadway show of Chicago. Um, I think some other people as well. But I learned how to do this back in college, and then I've brought it into over the years. Like, video roll-ins are everything from a welcome to an event to an actual award. Say a celebrity gets to accepts an award at an event.
Yeah. Okay. And just because I don't know what a video rolling actually is, can you explain that a little bit?
Yes. It's basically, like I said, it's a celebrity, a director, a screenwriter. Basically, for example, for the Latino Filmmakers Network, it was an introduction. Hi, I'm so and so. I've worked on these films, and I want to invite you to the Latino Filmmaker Network 11th annual event, and
Oh,
go deeper into why they think it's important, what's important about the cause.
okay. That's dope. So, in your expertise, what's a marketing rule everyone believes? What's a marketing rule that everyone believes that you think is nonsense?
Oh, a rule. So a rule that I think is nonsense.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Well, you have to be honest when you're marketing,
Yeah.
and you have to make sure that the sponsors get what they deserve, when it comes to what, because they're spending money to hopefully get new business.
True.
um, so and possibly, again, your goal is to build a rapport and to hopefully work with that business again, depending if you're working in the geography of where that business is located.
I get that.
um, So with me, I guess, you know, like I like to work on all different types of events and in different geographies. So
Yeah.
that's, I've been able to work in Kansas City, Michigan. Um, a lot of it was remote. I actually didn't, like I said, I work remote, and there's places sometimes I didn't travel. But does that kind of answer all that?
Yeah, kind of. All right. Hypothetical, right? If
Okay.
you had to market a film festival with zero budget, what are you doing in your first 7 days?
Researching companies that I think that would fit the general or genre aspect of the film festival. Um, I'm trying to stay away from, I mean, the thing is now where I'm at, I'm trying to stay away from newer film festivals because they don't have budgets.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what I mean? I guess it depends. It, I've had some situations where it hasn't been as successful as some of the older film festivals.
No, I get that. I get that. And what was it because of? Was it because of budget or was it because of like turnout?
Both budget and
Mm.
turnout.
Mm. So what do you think is harder, bringing people in for the first time or like having them come back?
That's a good question. I
And
think I would say bringing people for the first time as sponsors, advertisers, and the audience coming to the festival.
okay,
Like
okay,
the first year of a film festival is always going to be the most challenging.
I believe it. It's rough because you're still building your reputation.
Correct.
Okay, okay. And have that you've been in this for a while? Have you helped any big name festivals like build their reputation and their prestige to where it is now?
It's a good question. I think I added value to the older festivals I worked on and brought some really great supporters and sponsors. I think, a lot of the bigger festivals have like boards and like, they have um, more numbers of people that work on them. I think I've helped smaller film festivals get out there and definitely, some of the smaller newbies definitely do well and get out there.
Yeah.
Um, I know that in general, my help has definitely helped, and
Yeah.
I'm happy. Again, I'm happy. Like I said, for me, it's more about the filmmaker and having them have a successful experience than me. It's in general, I want filmmakers to have a good time and get further in their careers. And I feel at my age now, that makes me more happier than me worrying about, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a good feeling.
Now I
No
got
matter if
you.
it's a student filmmaker or it's a professional filmmaker that's entering into a festival, like to see them smile is a great feeling.
Now I get that. Helping people is always his own reward. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Especially when it's a person who's coming up coming up in that industry, and you help them to get to that next step, or even get a little bit more recognition. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So, you've been doing this for a while. So, you have any like wild moments, or like what moments are you like most proud of, or you're like, yeah, I really killed that one?
I would say wild moments. Just, I think my wild moments would be networking and meeting new contacts to get new events and new festivals that I was able to work on.
Okay.
I also, like over the festival in Queens, I had a great experience with with the law firm that it was one of my higher sponsorships. So that was a pretty exciting moment.
Dope.
Raising, yeah, it's a great law firm and they do a lot of great work. Yeah, I mean, I think meeting filmmakers. I really enjoy meeting filmmakers. I love working for really good festival directors who are great at communicating and letting me bug them 24/7 to let them know that I'm
You
doing
know,
my job.
I feel you on that. If you could give the roomies 3 actionable tips to market any event, what would they be?
Number one would be don't give up. When you're fundraising, you can't give up. You just have to keep on going. Number two, be creative when it comes to the different businesses, companies, and corporations, and seeing, researching and seeing if there's a tie to a certain film possibly that's screening at the festival, or, maybe there's a tie to, the location of where the festival is taking place, the geography. And then number three would be really supporting and honoring the filmmaker, because him and her deserve the most. It's their time. They were picked to, the programmer or the board
Yeah,
picked their films to be screened, and again, it's their celebration, not mine.
I got you on that. What would you? How can I phrase this? It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't get the phrasing out. Shit, damn it. No. All right. How? What advice would you give people? What advice would you give like a young person who's just stepping into like a role like yours, and they're facing rejection?
Well, the good news about film festivals is that there's so many that eventually one is going to accept you. So that's a positive. There's like 14, 15,000. I can't go to Film Freeway, just start researching by genre. Maybe it's a horror film festival. Maybe it's a festival about women. Maybe it's a Latino film festival. Maybe it's a film festival about cats and dogs, like an animal film festival. Right. It doesn't matter, but like there are so many film festivals out there. And I would also, for somebody who's just getting in, definitely intern or volunteer, because that's going to give you like an aspect. You'll see like all the different jobs that take place to put on a film festival. And in general, hopefully they'll be able to come back and get with internships and volunteering, you hope to possibly get a job in the future from that film festival or another film festival. So I think that's the most important thing, is really educating yourself about the different careers and jobs. If you want to get into sponsorship, sales, and advertising, you need to be able to be confident and not care about rejection, because there's a lot of rejection in sales and marketing, especially when you're fundraising for sponsorships and advertising. It could be like selling a garage door. Similar. I mean, it's different, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, I got you. I got what you mean.
So like, you got to know that rejection is part of the job. You have to also know that there's a lot of creative people who support you, and they, that the ones that see your vision and the ones that love film, you're going to have a much more success. And they are out there, because if you ask anybody, what was the latest movie you saw, they're going to tell you.
Facts. They are, and they're going to go into detail about it. They're going to break down the scenes, tell you what they like, what they didn't like. They're going to just break it down into a whole conversation.
Correct.
Yeah. Is there any big film festivals you're working on next besides the Sundance and the Latino Filmmakers Network?
I'm presently working on the Hip Hop Film Festival.
Woo, fire!
I've worked on it in the past. It's based in Harlem, or where the offices are, and CR Capers is an amazing woman. She founded the Harlem Film House, and which they offer. It's an independent film festival. It's not hip hop the music, but it's the culture community of a camera seen through hip hop.
Oh, that's dope.
Yes,
that's dope. Definitely keep me posted when that's coming out, so I could definitely check that out.
It's August 20th through the 23rd.
Okay,
in New York City.
Oh, perfect. I'm in there. Are you gonna be there?
I hope. My goal is to go. I like to. I'm like a homebody now as an older man. I really, like the last event I was in New York we were in Brooklyn. It was the Latino Filmmakers Network event in Brooklyn, and CR Capers was there from the Hip Hop Film Festival, and I helped with that event. That was a good event, and that took place in Brooklyn. And then I just worked on another event, the Black Film Space, which just had their annual gala. That was in December, and that was a great event. I didn't go, but that was in New York City as well.
That's dope.
I miss New York. I need to get back to New York. I really do.
Bro, when you come down, let me know. We got a drink. Go catch a couple films and all that.
Or hopefully I'll see you at the Hip Hop Film Festival. That's my goal. So.
Like I said, you hit me up, I'll be there. Even though I want to check it out, regardless. But if you're there, even better.
Oh, for sure. And what else can I let you know? My website. I don't know if my website is vollweileragency.us.
Okay.
And that gives you more information about what I've been doing with film festivals around the United States and outside of the country, and then also what my services are. So it's www.vollweileragency.us.
All right, cool. Is that the only place that people can find you at? Where else can people connect with you?
I'm on Facebook under Eric Vollweiler, and then I'm also on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place to find me, and that's ERIC. Last name is spelled V as in Victor, OLLWEILER.
All right, cool. Roomies, I'm definitely gonna drop the links in the description, so make sure to check my boy E out. And E, you got any final thoughts or message for the roomies and everybody out there before we go?
Just, really do your research when it comes to understanding the different film festivals that are out there. And for filmmakers, that, definitely just go out and make a film.
I feel you, bro. And roomies, remember, create, stay positive, and keep it pushing. Even if somebody says no, keep your head up.